So welcome to Pure Yoga, Mandala March, third week, and we're going to be working on strength. I have the right colour top on to connect with the chakras, as the strength chakra is yellow and it sits in the solar plexus area, so it's like the fire in the belly. So we're going to be really working quite strong on holding poses and transitioning into poses in a slightly different way, which is using longer limbs to challenge the oblique muscles. So leave it with me, come to the mat, bring yourself into child's pose, widen the knees as wide as the mat, bring the big toes together at the back. Let's just take a few moments in child's pose, walking the hands forward, chest to the inside of the thighs, bringing the forehead to the mat. So making sure you have some water so you can rehydrate at any point through practice. Don't let me cue you to do that. If you need to stop at any point, feel free to stop. As you find yourself in this child pose position, start to bring the attention to all the body from the fingertips down to the toe tips, just having a little check-in with how that body feels for you right now in this present moment. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing around the hips as much as you can, bringing those sit bones as close towards the feet as you can. When you've taken a mental scan of the body, bring the focus to the breath. Trying to connect with that Ujjayi breath throughout the practice. That slight restriction at the back of the throat, breathing in and out through the nose. If you're holding any colds or allergies, feel free to use the mat. Start to walk the hands over to your right side mat, bringing your left hand on top of the right, sinking your left sit bone back towards that left heel and stretching that left side body, contracting the right. Just taking it into lateral flexion just for a breath over to the right side. And then bring the hands back through centre, take them over to the left side, right hand on top of the left, and start to sink to the inside of that left thigh. Trying to feel the relaxation through the shoulders, trying to relieve any tension through the hips by breathing into that space. Then bring the hands back to the centre into a neutral place and hold it in neutral just for a couple of breaths. Keeping those shoulders relaxed, those necks long, those tailbones reaching as far back to the back of the mat as you can. And that stretch on the inner thigh around the lower back into those hips. Then when you're ready, making your way onto your hands and knees, bringing the shoulders over the heel of the hands, knees under the hips. And I want you to think about finding that core engagement throughout the whole of the practice, the tether of the ribs and hips, the drawback of the belly, and trying to feel like you're tucking the tailbone under slightly and trying to engage through those glutes. Tuck the toes under here, and then hover the knees just slightly away from the mat, finding ourselves still in a tabletop position with hovering knees. Push those hands nice and firmly into the floor, push the chest into the space between the shoulder blades. Keep everything strong in the centre of the body. Put your weight into your left foot as you stretch the right leg back into what we call that flying right leg, without that lower back arching. Bring those toes back to the floor, keep the knee hovering. Put the weight now into the right foot without the arch of the back coming into the practice. Straighten out that left leg, try and keep the pelvis nice and neutral. And then bring that left foot back to meet the right. Going to do that once or more on both sides. Hovering off with the knees, straightening this time the right leg. Keep pushing into the mat with the hands, into the mat with the left toes. Bring that right foot back, keep those knees hovering, and then take it the other side, push into the right toes and straighten back with that left leg, pushing the heel away, keeping the pelvis neutral. Bring that left foot back to meet the right, and then send yourself into down dog. Take a paddle of the feet, nod and shake of the head, roll of the shoulders. We will take 3 vinyasas from this place. I'll start with option 1, forward to plank on the inhale. Drop down the knees, turn the creases of the elbows, untuck the toes, release to the floor with a nice straight line through the back. Push into the hands, lift up the chest into a little baby cobra. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. The chests come back towards the thighs. Then push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. Have a little nod and a shake of the head. Taking it to option 2, forward to plank. Remember, stick with option 1 if you wish. Release down to the floor, straight bodies, elbows grazing the ribs. Untuck the toes as you arrive on the floor. Bring yourself into a back bend, whatever suits your body. And then release that chest back down, tuck under with the toes. The chest come back to the thighs. Push into those hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze those heels back. Paddle the feet, nod and shake of the head. Option 3 if you wish to take chaturanga. Come forward to plank, inhale, turn the creases of the elbows, bring yourself to a hover, roll over the toes, lift up the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades back. Then make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels or chest back to thighs. However you wish to return to this A-shaped position. Have relaxation through the shoulders, a nod and shake of the head. Feel gravity taking a hold of that cervical spine as you hold it in down dog for a few more breaths. This time your weight comes into your left foot as you raise the right leg up high. Then on your out breath, bring the knee to the nose, bring the shoulders over the heel of the hands, squeeze it in, hold it in that space. Push nice and strong into the hands, the chest into the back, into the space between the shoulder blades. Squeeze that hip flexor on the right side. On your next in-breath, raise that right leg again back up to the ceiling. On your out-breath, bring that right knee to the right elbow. Shoulders come back over the heel of the hands. Squeeze it a little higher, maybe into that right tricep. Push them hands into the mat. Then raise that right leg again, back up to the ceiling. And then take that right knee across to the left elbow. We'll hold it in this space for a few breaths. Keep that knee high. Trying to bring it to that left tricep if we can. Then raise that leg back up to the ceiling. Knee comes into the chest. Gaze in between the hands and step your right foot through. Help it through if you need to. Stabilize the feet. Raise the arms. Firstly, to our high lunge. Draw the shoulders down. Raise up with the arms. And then from this position, start to lean forward with the torso. Taking a long line from the fingertips back to that left heel. Feeling like the arms were wanting to collapse. You have to use those deltoid muscles in the shoulders to keep the arms lifted. The core center nice and strong. The stabilization through the feet. Bent into your right knee, straight through your left leg. Holding it in aeroplane lunge for a few breaths. Feeling like we're starting to fatigue those shoulders as those arms stay lifted. Using those back muscles all the way up that spine. Those erector spine muscles, latissimus dorsus, trapezius muscles. Then lift those shoulders back over, drop the left heel down and find warrior 2. Just let those shoulders relax down by turning the palms up, shoulders relaxing, turn the palms back, leaving the shoulders where they are. Sink in to that right knee, maybe a little more. Tuck under with that left bum cheek and the right bum cheek. Crown of the head stacking on top of that spine. Bent into the right knee, straight through the left leg. Then bring both hands up to the ceiling and then let the left hand drop down towards the side of the body and then lean over to the right, keeping the right hand lifted, using the strength of the obliques to take it into that side angle stretch. Feel long through the torso, holding it in that space just for another breath. And then take that right elbow onto that right thigh. Reach the left hand up and over to the front of the mat. Breathing into this space, holding that side angle stretch. One more breath here. And then bring that left hand back to the thigh. Reach that right hand back up, bicep by the side of the ear. And then lift that torso. Straighten both legs. Bring the right hand onto the hip, left hand onto the hip, and turn the feet to the long edge of the mat. Roll the shoulders back. Reach the arms out nice and wide. Turn the palms forward. Tilt from the hips and start to come to a half fold, keeping the arms long. Toes in front of the heels. Long, tall spine towards the front, towards the camera. Holding it in this compromised position, using all the muscles in the back, all the muscles around the abdominals and the oblique muscles, muscles through the shoulders. Engage those upper thighs to keep those joints of the knees protected. Then release the hands to the floor, fold the body over the legs and just let go of the head. Relax the shoulders, maybe give them a little bit of motion around, getting into that mobility of the shoulder socket. Next breath in, come up to a half lift. Push into the outside edges of both feet, engage the back muscles, reach the arms out wide. And then lift that torso back up, over the hips. Turn your left foot to the back edge of the mat and bend into that left knee. Both hands come up to the ceiling. And then let that right hand come down to the right thigh. And then start to lean over with the torso towards that left side of the room, which is the back of your mat away from the camera. Try and keep that long, tall spine. Try not to collapse in that left side waist. One more breath here with that long limb of the left arm. And then bring that left forearm onto the left thigh. Reach the right hand up. And then send the right hand towards the back of the mat. Relax that right shoulder. Side angle stretch. Long line from the right fingertips down to that right side outside edge of the foot. Easy breaths in. And long breaths out. You can tell we're starting to fatigue the muscles in the shoulders a little bit. Maybe the muscles in the legs. Then bring that right hand back to the outside of the right thigh. Reach that left arm up and out to the side, bicep by the ear, keeping that long line through the side of the left of the waist. And then lift those shoulders back over the hips. Reach both arms out, find your warrior two. Relax the shoulders, turn the palms up. Keep the shoulders relaxed as you turn the palms back. Stay bent into that left knee tracking towards that little toe on the left foot. Stack that head on top of the cervical, the thoracic, the lumbar spine and the sacrum. So everything is sat in one long line above the pelvis. And then turn yourself to the back of the mat, come onto the toes of the back foot, and find your high lunge position. Hold it in high lunge for a breath, stabilize the feet, and then lean forward with your torso, reaching forward with the fingertips, back with the right heel, bent into that left knee. Try and lift the arms a little higher without arching the back, and keep those abdominals engaged, ribbon hips tethered. One more breath here. And then release the hands down either side of that left foot. Lift that left leg up to the ceiling. Bring that left knee into the nose. Hold it there for a breath. Then bring the shoulders over the heel of the hands, keeping that knee squeezed in. Then raise that left leg back up to the ceiling. Bring that left knee to the left elbow and squeeze it in. Raise that leg and bring that left knee to the right elbow. Shoulders over the heel of the hands. Squeeze it towards that tricep. Raise that leg. Bring that left foot back to meet the right. Take a paddle of the feet, a nod and shake of the head. And then take your vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank, inhale, drop the knees, straight bodies to the floor or find a hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. And then make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Getting ready to take it all the way around again to the left to end up back at the front of the mat. We have a slightly different pose to side angle. We'll be doing triangle pose in a similar long limb to work strength of the obliques. So listen to the foot I'm asking you to raise. Left foot stays grounded, right leg lifts. Bring that knee into the chest, shoulders over the heel of the hands and squeeze and hold. Squeeze that hip flexor on that right side. Lift it up towards the chest as much as you can. Then raise that leg again, back up to the ceiling. Bring that right knee to the right elbow and squeeze it there. Really lift that knee as high as you can up that right arm. Keep that foot drawn into the back hamstring. Raise that leg again, back up to the ceiling. Bring that knee across the body and towards that left elbow. Squeeze, hold it there. One more breath. Raise that leg back up. Bring the knee into the chest. And this time step your right foot through. Help it through if you need to. Stabilize the feet, sink the hips, raise the arms. Find your high lunge first. We're going through our aeroplane lunge first. So leaning forward with the torso, stretching through the fingertips to the back of the mat, pushing into the left toes, left heel squeezing towards the front of the mat. Sinking those hips low, bending into that right knee, lengthening through the torso, keeping that core strength nice and strong. The strength in the shoulders to keep those length of those limbs lifted. Then lift up through the chest, drop the back heel, find warrior two. Turn the palms up, relax the shoulders. Turn the palms back, shoulders stay where they are. Sink a little lower in the hips if you can maintain good posture. Keep everything stacked on top of that pelvis. Lower belly lifted, tailbone tucked under. Breathing easy with that Ujjayi breath if you're still using it. In and out through the nose. And then straighten through both legs. Reach both hands to the ceiling. Keep the right hand lifted, left hand goes down towards that left thigh. And then lean over with the torso with that right hand still up. Bicep by the side of the ear. Use the strength of the obliques to hold. Try not to lock out in that right knee. Hold it here just for another breath. And then release that right hand down. Left hand lifts to the ceiling. Keep that chest turning to the left. Keep everything like it's in between two planes of glass as you find your triangle. Maybe you want to lift up the gaze towards that left hand. Right shoulder tucks under and the left shoulder stacks. Keep everything nice and stable by pushing into the floor with both feet, engaging through the legs. Bringing your left hand down to the thigh, reaching your right arm up and out to the side to bring that bicep by the side of the ear again. And then lift that torso all the way back up. Turn the feet. Bring both hands to the hips so we're facing the long edge of the mat. Hands come onto the hips, roll the shoulders back. Reach the arms out, turn the palms forward and then start to fold from the hips. So the body starts to come to that 90-degree angle. Palms are facing down, arms are lifted out to the sides. Easy breaths in. Toes in front of the heels. And then release the hands down to the floor. Let the body fold. Give those shoulders a moment. Maybe move them around in their sockets. Let the traction come through the neck. Next breath in, come up to a half lift. Reach the arms out, palms facing down. Hold it there for a breath. And then lifting back up through the torso. Turn your left toes back to the front edge of the mat. Keeping both legs straight. Reach both hands up to the ceiling. Then bring your right hand back to the thigh. Lean over to the left with the left arm lifted, bicep by the side of the ear. Hold it in that long line, that compromised position. Use the strength of the sides of the body. Keep lifting that left arm towards the ear. Try not to lock out in that left knee joint. One more breath. Before we then release the hand to the inside of the left shin, right hand up to the ceiling to find that triangle pose. Left shoulder under the right. Maybe gaze up towards that right hand. Keeping that long left side body, long right side body. Coming back out, bring the right hand back to the right thigh. Reach the left arm up, bicep by the side of the ear. Hold it with the strength of the torso. And then lift that body up. Bring both arms out, T-shape. Bend into that left knee, find your warrior two. Turn the palms up, let the shoulders relax. Then turn the palms back down, keeping the shoulders where they are. And then turning to face the front of the mat, coming onto the toes of the back foot, raising the hands high to find high lunge. Staying bent into that left knee. And then start to lean forward with the torso, long body. All the way from the fingertips to that right heel. Sink the hips lower. Push energetically through both feet. And then release the hands down. Place them either side of the left foot. Raise that left leg up to the ceiling. Bring that knee into the chest. Shoulders over the heel of the hands. Squeeze and hold. Raise that left leg. Bring that left knee to that left elbow or a little higher up that left arm. Shoulders over the heel of the hands. Left leg lifts. Then bring that left foot to the right elbow across that body. Squeeze it in. Raise that leg. Bring that left foot back to meet the right. Take a little paddle through those feet. Little nod, shake of the head. Take a vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank on the inhale. Release down, hover to the floor, dropping the knees if you wish. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Then make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing of the heels back. So we're going to take ourselves back a full 360 around to the right, doing 2 more poses in between our aeroplane lunge and warrior. Weight comes into your right foot as your left leg lifts. This time taking it a little bit more flowy, bring the knee to the chest, hover the shoulders over the heel of the hands. Breathe in, raise that leg. Breathe out, left knee, left elbow and squeeze. Breathe in, lift that leg. Breathe out, left knee, right elbow and squeeze. Breathe in and lift that left leg. Then bring that knee into the chest, step your left foot through. Stay nice and low in the hips as you raise the arms to find high lunge. Then we're going to find our aeroplane lunge, leaning forward, staying strong through the shoulders, strong through the abdominals, head in line with the spine. Hold it low in the hips. And then lift those shoulders back over the hips. Drop your right heel down and find your warrior 2. Push nice and strong into the outside edge of that right foot, into the sole of the left foot. Bring both hands up to the ceiling. And then keeping the right hand lifted, bring the left hand down to the left thigh and lean back with the torso with that long right arm. Hold it there for a breath. Then release that right hand behind the back. Find a bind and lift the left hand and breathe into that left rib cage. Pushing strong down into the feet. Gazing maybe up into that left palm, left knee tracking towards that little toe. Then bring that left hand back down. Reach the right arm back up, bicep to the ear, and then lift the shoulders. Bring the arms back to a T shape. Straighten both legs. Turn to face the long edge. Toes out, heels slightly in, bend the arms, and then bend the knees into a sumo squat. Stay in low here for the count of 5, 4, squeeze the knees out, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten through the legs, bring the hands back to the hips, turning your left toes now to the back edge, bending into your left knee. Reach both hands up to the ceiling, palms together. Then bring your right hand down to the thigh. Lean back with the torso, with the left hand lifted, bicep by the side of the ear. So this long limb challenges you to hold the torso a little stronger. And then bring that left hand down and around behind the body to bind onto the right thigh. And reach the right hand up to the ceiling and stretch into that right side waist. Maybe gaze up to that right palm. Sink those hips low as you can go. Try not to let your arch in your lower back pinch that lower spine. Lift up the lower belly slightly if it is. Bring those hands back to warrior 2. Arms out, shoulder high. Turn the palms up, let the shoulders relax. Turn the palms back. Holding this warrior just for another couple of breaths. Then bring your left arm down and around and come onto the toes of the back foot to find high lunge for a breath. Then take it into your aeroplane lunge, reaching nice and long through the fingertips, back through the left heel, hips are nice and low, core is engaged, shoulder muscles are engaged. Arms are in flexion as you lift them up above the head. And then release the hands down. Right leg goes back up. Bring the knee to the chest, shoulders over the heel of the hands, not holding this time. Raise that right leg back up. Bring the right knee, right elbow and squeeze. Lift back up. Right knee, left elbow and squeeze. Lift back up. And bring that right foot back to meet the left. And take your choice vinyasa from here. Forward to plank, inhale. Release with a nice straight long line. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Maybe have a paddle of those feet. We have one more round towards the right again, back to the front of the mat. Changing that pose in the centre to a rotated lunge. Without using the elbow to hook on the knee, we're going to use our oblique strength to twist. Weight comes into your right foot as you lift your left leg. Bring the knee to the nose and squeeze, shoulders over the heel of the hands. Raise that left leg. Left knee, left elbow and squeeze. Raise that leg. Left knee, right elbow, squeeze. Raise that leg. Bring that knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step that foot through. Stabilize the feet first and then raise the arms second to your high lunge. Then find your aeroplane lunge, reaching forward with the fingertips. Lift up with the arms, keep those shoulders strong. Then bring the hands to the chest, palms together. Without hooking the elbow, turn yourself to the left, using the oblique strength to rotate. Keep the pelvis facing that short edge of the mat, shoulders turning to the long edge. Hold it here in rotation without the hook of the elbow, unless you feel you need to do that for a little more support. And then reach the arms out forward with that turn of the chest to the left, just for a breath. Then bring the hands back to the chest, turn back to the short edge of the mat, and then find your warrior two. Back heel drops, left knee stays bent. Arms are out nice and long, left knee is tracking either over that left ankle, forward or back of it, whatever feels works. Then straighten the left leg, turn the toes slightly out to the corners, bend the arms, sink into the knees, sink into the hips, holding it in our goddess pose for the count of 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Straighten back up. Turn your right toes back to the front edge. Find warrior two here. Palms down, shoulders relaxed. And then bring that left arm down and around, palms together, come onto the toes of the back foot. And then lean forward, turn and rotate the body without hooking the elbow if you can. Use the oblique strength to twist. Pelvis stays neutral to the short edge, shoulders to the long edge. You can hook that elbow if you need some outside influence and help. It's a lot stronger variation if you don't hook the elbow. Then if you're coming with me, straighten both arms out to the front, still with that rotation. Energize into the mat by pushing into those feet. And then turn the torso back to the front, keep the arms long, finding aeroplane lunge. Lift up for a moment, high lunge, and then release the hands down. Right leg lifts, knee comes to the nose and squeeze. leg lifts. Right knee, right elbow squeeze. Lift. Right knee, left elbow squeeze. Lift. And then bring that right foot back to meet the left. Take a vinyasa of your choice from here. Forward to plank, inhale. Release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lift the hips, squeeze the heels back. Then come down onto the knees. Take a moment. We just have 2 more poses to go. We're not necessarily doing mandalas, but we are turning and facing the other way after a transition of Wild Thing into a seated rotation. So if you're ready and you've taken on some water, just a couple of more poses to go. Make your way on to your hands and knees and step back to plank. Lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back, gazing back towards the toes. We're going to start on our right leg. So come forward to plank. Bring your weight onto your right foot and turn yourself over to your right side. Left foot comes behind the right leg as you reach back with the left hand. So we've gone a little bit further than side plank. Opening the chest up to the ceiling, finding Wild Thing. Left knee's bent, left foot is grounded, right leg straight, right hand is grounded. Left hand reaches back as much as you can to the back of the mat, just for 1 more breath. And then let the hips come down to the floor, facing the back of the mat, keeping the left knee bent. Reach up with the arms. Bring the right toes back to the shins. Bring the hands together at the chest. Then turn and twist towards your left side mat. Try not to use an anchor of the right arm. Just use the oblique strength to turn the torso. Pelvis stays neutral, both sit bones grounded. Left knee is bent, right leg is straight. 1 more breath here. Then turn the torso back around all the way to bring that right hand back to the mat, to lift the hips back up to the ceiling, to find your Wild Thing again. Left hand reaching back. And then bring your left hand down. Come onto the toes of the right foot. Find your down dog. Feet hip width apart and shoulder width apart. And then we'll take that on that left side. Come forward to plank. Roll on to your left. Bring your right foot behind your left leg. Turn and twist the hips and the shoulders to the ceiling. And reach that right hand back. Left leg is straight, right knee is bent. Feeling the long stretch through the chest, the right side rib cage. Weight is in that left hand. Turn that chest as much as you can up to the ceiling. And then lower the hips, facing again the back of the mat. Right leg's bent, left leg straight. Reach up with the arms. Toes of the left foot back. Bring the hands together at the chest. Turn the torso to the right, using oblique strength, not outside help of that left elbow. Nothing to anchor on, just strength of the torso to turn and twist. Holding it just for 1 more breath. Try and use the breath to find a little more rotation. And then turning back around, bringing your left hand back to the front of the mat. Push into your right foot, ground the outside edge of your left foot. Open the chest to the ceiling, finding that Wild Thing again. And then bring that right hand down, toes of the left foot. Meet yourself back in down dog. Have a nod, have a shake of the head. Take a last vinyasa of your choice, forward to plank. And release. Roll through, up, lift the chest. Taking yourself back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Coming down onto the knees. Cross over the feet or swing the feet around. Bring your bums onto the mat. Feet to the front. Heels pushing forward, toes drawing back. Arms come out shoulder high. Take a long breath in. And take a long breath out. Working your way all the way down to the mat with control. All the way to the floor. And when you arrive down on the mat, arms come to cactus arms, bend into both knees. Tuck the tailbone down and lift the lower belly up, and then start to just lift up into a back bend of bridge. Arms in cactus arms, feet pushing into the floor. Squeeze the glutes as much as you can as you've raised those hips up as high as you can. And then slowly and mindfully bring those hips back down. One more little bit of core strength with the hip flexors. Lift both feet up. Push the heels away, toes back. On your out breath, keep the lower back pushed into the mat as you lower the right leg to a hover off the floor or as low as you feel comfortable to take it. On your in-breath, raise that right leg back up to the ceiling. Take it nice and slow. Out-breath, left leg lowers. Keep drawing the belly back, keep the lower back pushed in. Hover to where you're happy for that limb to come to. And then on your inhale, bring it back up to the ceiling with as much as control as you let it down. One more, both sides. Control as you lower. Abdominal contraction, lower back keeps pushing into the floor. In breath, we lift. One more left side, lower. Try and keep nice and stable in the centre of the body. On the inhale, lift. Bring the knees into the chest. Give those knees a hug. Maybe just have a little rock of that body from side to side. Maybe make a few circles with the knees on the ceiling. Make the circles the other way. And then squeeze those knees in. Then release the feet to the floor. Let the legs come long to the end of the mat. Widen the feet. Turn the palms up, let the fingers gently curl. Try not to crunch the shoulders up. Tuck the tailbone under, let the lower back sink to the mat. Give the hips a little rock from side to side. Maybe a turn of the head from left to right. Close the eyes, relax the jaw. Take a scan of the body. Checking in with anything that feels tight. If it feels tight, give that muscle a squeeze, then let that muscle release. Just knowing that you've worked strong with those oblique muscles, the side of the waist, those abdominal muscles, the muscles around the shoulders, and the muscles around the legs, the lower, mid and upper spine muscles. Full body strength practice in a mandala flow. Using those longer limbs in poses to transition into new places. Just helps strengthen around that waist area, around the back. It keeps that lower back safe and strong. Try and let the body feel weighted. Let the floor support it. Just consolidate everything you've just done. Starting to bring some movement back into the fingers, some movement into the toes, bring some movement into the wrists. Obviously, if you wish to stay a little longer in relaxation, pause me now. On your next in-breath, take a full body stretch, stretching those hands up and over the back of the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes, maybe arching into that lower back. And then bringing those hands back up and over, bringing the knees into the chest, having a rock of that body from side to side, massaging that spine, thanking it for practice. Then choice to roll onto your side or move up to seated a little more energetically by rocking up and down that spine a few times. And then when you arrive in seated after a few rocks, if you're on your side, make your way into a seated position, either cross legs or legs out in front or on the knees. Then bring the hands onto the thighs, take a deep breath in. Long breath out, relax the shoulders down. Your next breath in, reach the hands up and over the head, palms together at the top. Then bring the hands to the chest, soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts, from my heart to yours. Namaste.